Hey, very warm welcome to this video. What I want to do today is look at the parts of the world that are worst affected with this pandemic at the moment. We'll also look at the UK, and the death rate in the United States is increasing, and we'll look at that. And then as time permits, we'll probably look at Russia as well. There's some interesting developments there. Now, I want to start off by looking at the global situation. So this is the total number of cases and the total number of deaths globally. And these are the countries that are most affected in terms of new cases per capita. So Luxembourg is where there are the most number of new registered cases, official cases per capita of the population at the moment, between Belgium, France and Germany, of course. Lithuania is next. That's the Baltic state. Remember, the Baltic states are Lithuania, Latvia and Estonia. Third most affected in the world in terms of population per capita, Georgia in the Caucasus and bordering on the Black Sea. Croatia next in the Balkans. More on Croatia tomorrow, in fact. Next is Serbia, which is another Baltic state bordering Romania and Bulgaria. San Marino is a very small landlocked country in Italy. Next on the list is Montenegro, another one of the Balkans. Slovenia, the most northerly of the Balkans. Sweden, of course, next to Norway and Sweden. Belize is on the eastern coast of Central America. United States is just south of Canada and just north of Mexico. And this is actually Czechia. I actually call it the Czech Republic, so that's what that is. So they are the countries that are most affected in terms of officially diagnosed cases. In order, that's the current situation. And my geography is actually not tremendously good, so I cheated. There you go. But serious point that they are the countries worst affected at the moment. Now, the Canada site has got this excellent international live situation map, which I've put the link for there, and we can go on that and have a quick look. There we go. And the great thing about this is it wherever you put your cursor, it highlights the country and tells you the trend. So start off with Canada, which you might have just seen the video with Lindsay on, and it gives us the graph on the right hand side of the screen. The United States cases increasing in Russia at quite a steep rate. Sweden there also, I see a recent steep increase. Also Brazil, quite a lot of cases still in Brazil. A bit of a resurgence in South Africa as well. The shape of the line there on the right telling you really quite a lot about the whole situation. And India, yeah, you could go on forever with this. Interesting. Do click on it yourself and have a look around at countries that you think you would like to know about. Now, moving on to the United Kingdom now. The self-isolation rules in the UK are being reduced from 14 days to 10 days from Monday. Now, the rationale for this is, the senior doctors have said this, by day 10, only 2% of people are still capable of passing on the virus, is what they're saying. So they're saying it's kind of a trade-off between transmissibility and the impact on people's lives, and indeed, of course, the degree to which people are complying with this. Staying at home for 14 days can be quite difficult for some people, especially if they've got to work and look after children. So the idea here is that people are the most infectious on the first day of symptoms. They're also infectious for 2 or 3 days before that, and for the first 2 or 3 days after is when people are most infectious, when they're most likely to transmit the virus. Now, they can transmit it, of course, on day 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It just becomes less likely, and by day 10, there's only 2% will still transmit the virus. So that's kind of the rationale for that. And It vaguely makes sense. So that's what they're doing. Also, that'll apply to quarantine people returning from high-risk countries. It will now be 10 days. Cases are falling in most of England and Northern Ireland at the moment. So Office for National Statistics official figures week ending the 5th of December. Always the delay, of course. 481,500 people had the infection during the week ending the 5th of December. That works out at 1 in 115 of the population. Scotland it was 120. Wales it was 1 in 120. Now, things do seem to be increasing in Wales, and another lockdown there after Christmas is a real possibility. So older school children are being sent home early for the holidays. Outdoor activities are curtailed. And there may be another lockdown after Christmas. The reason being that hospital capacity in Wales is getting very near capacity. And we don't want the situation where people are turned away from hospital because we don't have the resources to treat them. Northern Ireland, 1 in 235, so less cases there. So cases down in England, but increased in London and the east of England. So on the whole, looking good, but slightly more concerning in east of England, Scotland, and particularly Wales is the current trend in the UK. Interesting, we've got fairly similar numbers there, really. So 1 in 115 in England, 120 in Scotland, Wales 120. Albeit with their different systems of doing it, the tier system in England and different levels of restriction in the other two countries. But all round about the same, apart from Wales, where cases do seem to be increasing. And most people in Wales, of course, are behaving superbly and responsibly, but there is a sizable minority that are not, which is why the infections are spreading in Wales. So definite opportunity there for peer-to-peer education within Wales itself. Positivity rates down in other regions of England and Wales. Positivity rates, the number of tests coming back positive for every 100 taken, a good indicator of the level of community transmission. So Office for National Statistics are saying that the R in England is now back up to between 0.9 and 1. Which really means that this infection is fairly flat at the moment. Now, this isn't good because we've got the rest of December, January, February, March to go before the weather gets better and the vaccines start to kick in. So we've got a long way to go, And we are not getting the numbers down anything like we would like. And if the R value is 1, then it's not that much further to rise to get to 1.1, where we start getting this exponential growth all over again. So not where we would like it to be by any means. Deaths the week ending 27th of November. Deaths had actually increased for 12 weeks following the cases of the second wave. And in this week, the week ending the 27th of November, this is full data. Any time that COVID-19 is mentioned as a significant factor on the death certificate, over 3,000 deaths in that week. That was nearly a quarter of all deaths in the country. Now, I am expecting deaths to start going down now because the cases have gone down. And it's the lag effect. So deaths will start to go down. I've no doubt about that because of the reduction in cases that we are currently seeing, although not going down anything like as quickly as we would like. Now I'm going to move on to the United States now. Now, Robert Redfield, director of the Centers for Disease Control, of course. Now, I would not have mentioned this because I'm just so aware of the sensitivity around these issues, but Robert Redfield has decided to bring it up, so we will mention it. Coronavirus will kill more people every day for the next 60 to 90 days than the terrorist atrocities of the 11th of September 2001. Quite sobering. I wasn't going to mention this. I've been aware of it for some time, but he's brought it up, so I'm reporting it. But pretty sobering when you think of it in those terms. More dying every day than were killed at Pearl Harbor, bringing the United States into the Second World War, of course. So the deaths at the moment are this kind of level. That was the last 24 hours. That was the 24 hours before that. That's the total number. And this number now, I believe this number exceeds the number of American dead in World War II, which was also brought up. So I wouldn't have mentioned that, but given that Robert Redfield brought it up, it does give us pause for reflection, I think. Now, the United States FDA, come on, guys, come on. So, recommended emergency approval for the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine. Good. Still needs to be formally approved by the FDA vaccine chief. So, as of now, it's still not been formally approved. Now, it will be tomorrow. It's got to be. But it might even have been done today. So, but it will be done any hour now. You kind of get the impression that it's been passed by this big committee guy, but they don't want to. I don't know. Anyway, come on, let's get it done. Operation Warp Speed vaccine deliveries will begin 24 hours after approval. Within 24 hours of approval. So UPS and FedEx are involved. I forget, one's east and one's west. We did look at this yesterday, but it's being coordinated by the military. I am expecting the logistics in the States to be well done. I'm sure it will be very well done. Pfizer BioNTech, 6.4 million doses ready to go. Rock and roll, 6.4 million, sorry, 6.4 million. Just under 6.5 million doses. But the mass rollout, most people aren't going to get vaccinated in the States till March or April. It is not going to help with these deaths in the next weeks and indeed 60 to 90 days. The only thing that will affect that is getting the transmission rates down, which you know how to do if you watch these videos. Now I'm going to go into Russia now. Obviously we don't know as much as we would like. So official number of cases up by 28,000 in 24-hour period. Just under there, just over there. Equaling, so that was the 24 hours before, that was the last 24 hours. Equal over 2 million. The diagnostic criteria in Russia are quite high, as is the diagnostic criteria for death from COVID. But again, this is a record number of deaths, 613 deaths officially reported. Although we did see evidence last week that indicates that these are underreported. This is from Russia's coronavirus headquarters. Now, this is, I don't know, it's not really amusing, it's a bit bemusing really. The Sputnik vaccine and alcohol. So Anna Popova, head of the Consumer Health Watchdog, speaking on Pravda Radio, stopped drinking at least 2 weeks before the first injection. Then there's 3 weeks between shots and continue to abstain for a further 42 days. So this is quite a long time not to drink over winter and over the festive season for a lot of Russians now. Alcohol consumption is very high in Russia. Certainly a few years ago it was the highest in the world per capita. But the amount of drinking in Russia has gone down steadily since 2003 as a result of health education campaigns. But still a big problem in Russia. So I'm just wondering if Anna here was trying to use this as a way to encourage people to drink less. If so, very commendable, but not appropriate to mislead people in this way. She's saying the alcohol would reduce the body's ability to build up immunity, and to some extent that's true, but nothing for as long a period as she's talking about. It's a strain on the body. If you want to be healthy and have a strong immune system, don't drink alcohol, Anna says. Well, of course she's right, but clinically it is not necessary to abstain from alcohol for that length of period of time. So I can see what she's doing, and I can admire her approach, and I think it's a laudable aim, but it's not medically accurate, and will deter people from taking the vaccine, I fear. So well intended but severely misguided, I would say on that one. But this chap here is one of the vaccine developers, and these are direct quotes from him. One glass of champagne won't hurt anyone, not even your immune system, so that's true. Of course, some people, once they have one glass, tend to have another. That's the problem. But anyway, he goes on to say it's prudent to reduce alcohol use by responsible amounts while the body builds up immunity. No need to give up completely. But it's crucial, however, he says, and this is interesting. So this is interesting. I wasn't really aware of this. 3 days before and 2 days after a vaccine dose. So that would be 5 days of not drinking around the time of a vaccine dose. This is really just general advice, but you know, he's a vaccine developer. It would make sense to listen to him. But certainly no need to stop drinking for long periods of time, like Anna was advocating. Now, the mass rollout of the Sputnik vaccine. There's quite a few vaccines being developed in Russia, but the Sputnik vaccine is the main one and the leading one, of course, the one that's being used now. Now, apparently, Moscow's Polyclinic number 3 and Moscow Clinic number 3 branch 2 were remarkably quiet this week when the rollout started. They weren't giving out anything like as many vaccines as they expected. Whether this is true of the whole country or not, we don't really know. But it was true of these two clinics, as reported in various popular press outlets. Information, government officials on vaccination development. So the information has come from government officials or the vaccine developers. Very limited independent information. They say the Sputnik vaccine efficacy exceeds 95% and it's safe. Okay, that sounds good, but we would kind of like to see the data. We've had data in press releases from the Pfizer and the Moderna vaccine where they give exact numbers, and of course the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine has now been peer reviewed. The phase 3 studies are peer reviewed and published, as we looked at a couple of days ago. So more understanding of the Sputnik vaccine would be good, more figures. Moscow's deputy mayor, Anastasia Rakov, she has said of the phase 3 report that there's a randomised controlled trial with 40,000 people in it. So again, Anastasia is the mayor and she's just announced this. Again, it's kind of a political announcement rather than a scientific announcement. This may be why people are mistrusting, or apparently mistrusting the vaccine. So the RCT, randomised controlled trial, 40,000 people in it. Randomised controlled trial, of course, absolutely brilliant. That is the gold standard of research. A quarter get a placebo. So for every 100 people in the trial that recruited into the trial for the Sputnik vaccine, 75 get the vaccine and 25 are the placebo. Which is okay. The statisticians are quite well capable of working out the differences between those groups. It's a slightly different approach to the rest, but it's not wrong, it's fine. So 20,000 people have so far received both shots. 272 got the virus, but we don't know who in the placebo group got the virus. They do say there's no serious side effects, but again, it would be nice to see that published. So just a frustrating lack of information there. But a major boost has been given to the Sputnik 5 vaccine now, because the Oxford AstraZeneca group are going to start collaborating or collaborations with the Russian vaccine. And if that turns out good and it's subject to proper peer review and everything's good, then it's a good sign, because this is a cheap vaccine and can be rolled out to billions of people in the world, literally billions of people in the world, because it's a good price. Now, it's about $3 a shot, I think, the AstraZeneca vaccine, which is good. Just to show the increase in cases in various countries that we were talking about before, So here's the United Kingdom where cases are going down. Here's the United States where it's going up. So we say that Croatia, for example, and Georgia, and these other countries we looked at, have got very steep increases in terms of per capita. I mean, things are bad enough in the States, but even worse in Croatia, Georgia, and those other countries that we looked at. So that graph does tend to put things in a bit of context, looking at it as a per capita consideration, which really is the fairest comparison, really. But that line in the United States is just going up all the time. It's this blip here was Thanksgiving, lack of reporting. So can't pretend not to be concerned about that. It's hard to see that there won't be accelerated number of cases, hospitalizations and deaths in the States for some time. Okay, let's close with a few of your pictures that show your experience of the pandemic. Who's this? Oh, this is Cheryl from Yellowstone National Park. You know, Yellowstone's, I've wanted to go there since I used to watch Yogi Bear cartoons when I was a boy. It looks like an amazing place. Maybe one day. But recreate responsibly. So that's good outdoor public information. Thanks for that, Cheryl. This is Elizabeth in Ohio. And it looks like she's watching someone on the large screen. So thank you very much for watching, Elizabeth in Ohio. And this is from another. This guy's a doctor, I think, John in St Albans. Keep calm and shop. Okay. We did have a keep calm and carry on video the other day on this channel, didn't we? Right, okay, so that's largely where we're at over the weekend. Treading water really in the UK. Very rapid growth in some parts of the world. Rapid growth continues in the United States. Vaccine rollout has got potential in Russia. We just wish we knew more. Vaccine rollout is going to have massive potential, of course, in the UK. Canada as well, starting Pfizer BioNTech vaccine distribution. First shots are probably going to be next Tuesday, because it's been officially approved in Canada now as well. And the United States will be following soon. Millions of people will be getting vaccinated in the United States in the next few weeks, no question about that. But it's only a start. It's not going to impact herd immunity this winter, and we are dependent on our behaviour for this winter. Next winter, things will be different. We'll be back to, we'll be back to normal. I would predict we'll be back to normal next winter. Okay, thank you for watching as always.